Hello dear students, the theme of the lesson Things You Didn't Know About Space, subject Foreign Language, Group SHTM20, date 6th of October. Space exploration. In this presentation you will investigate the history and future of space exploration, including space transportation. Introduction. Man has always aspired to explore the unexplored and to understand what is not understood. The Earth, our Sun, our solar system, even our galaxy is tiny in comparison to the universe. Space had therefore been a fascination to explorers and scientists alike for many years. Very early space exploration. Before space travel was possible, space exploration was performed by studying the sky with the naked eye. Ancient scholars developed an understanding of the stars, the planets, and their movements based on observation. With the development of the telescope in the early 17th century, astronomical observations became more detailed and accurate. However, it was the dramatic technological advances of the second half of the 20th century that enabled us to substantially increase our knowledge of space. Early rockets. The principle of the rocket has been around for a long time. The earliest were used as weapons hundreds of years ago. A rocket produces movement by burning fuel. This shoots hot gases out the one end, sending the rocket in the other direction. In order for burning to take place, there must be fuel and oxygen. Since there is no air in space, rockets must have their own oxygen source. This allows them to be used for space travel. The first rocket that was able to fly high enough to be considered in space was the V-2 missile. This was a weapon developed by German scientists in the Second World War. The technology was used for rockets in early space exploration. First rocket in orbit. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched a rocket that sent the first man-made satellite into orbit around the Earth. The satellite named Sputnik I orbited for 57 days before burning up upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. First life in space. The next question was, could a human travel into space? Some scientists had believed that life would not be able to function during space travel. It was decided that an animal would be sent first to ensure the safety of the journey. Just a few weeks after the successful launch of Sputnik I, the Soviet Union launched another satellite, Sputnik II. Sputnik II had a passenger for its journey, a dog named Laika. Unlike Sputnik I, Sputnik II had to support life, therefore it needed an oxygen generator for air, a fan to keep Laika cool, a harness to keep her safe, enough food for the trip, a way of collecting waste. Unfortunately, Laika did not survive the trip. However, she has her place in history as the first living thing to orbit the Earth. First human in space. On April 12, 1961, Russian astronaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space orbiting the Earth once. Gagarin traveled in a spacecraft named Vostok I. It was unknown how humans would react to being in space, so the flight was controlled from the ground. Yuri's trip. Once the spacecraft had been successfully launched, the rocket part dropped off the craft and returned to Earth. Only the capsule containing Gagarin was sent into orbit. Upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, Gagarin ejected from the craft and parachuted safely to the ground. Race to the Moon. In 1969, American astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first man to set foot on the moon, proclaiming, "That's one small step for man, the one giant leap for mankind." The rocket-propelled spacecraft that made the journey to the moon was Apollo 11 as part of NASA's Apollo project. Mars landing. In 2010, US President Barack Obama made the following statement: "By the mid-2030s, I believe we can send humans to orbit Mars and return them safely to Earth. A landing on Mars will follow." The distance between Mars and Earth is about 55 million kilometers. Using current technology, it is estimated that a journey of that distance and back would take over a year. The biggest obstacle to space travel is the extremely large distances. New spacecraft technology. Scientists are looking to improve spacecraft technology. Could a rocket be made that does not require the burning of fuel? New technologies that have been researched include solar sails, nuclear power, ion thrusters, Casimir technology, variable specific impulse magnetoplasma or rocket. Ion thrusters. Ion thrusters use electrical energy to create thrust. This removes the need for burning fuel. A small acceleration is produced but for a very long time. Ion thruster power is used in missions that do not require much power or missions that are going to take a long time. The International Space Station, the ISS, is a research facility built in a low Earth orbit. It is the largest man-made satellite ever built and can be seen from Earth with the naked eye. Scientists use the station to conduct experiments in an environment different to that of Earth. Today, space exploration is mainly carried out using powerful telescopes, probes, and satellites. A space telescope is a telescope that orbits the Earth above the atmosphere. Images seen through telescope on Earth are blurred by the Earth's atmosphere. As you can see in the picture, the Hubble Space Telescope, launched in 1990, has become one of the most important tools used in astronomy. Also, space telescopes are able to capture clear images. Probes are robotic spacecraft sent into space to send back data and images. Probes are able to stay in space much longer than humans. This means that research can be conducted on planets and moons unsuitable for human exploration. And the picture you can see the Voyager. The first probe was launched in 1977 and is still traveling through the space. Traveling to stars, our nearest star system is over 4 light years away. This means that it takes a light 4 years to travel this distance. The time constraints and expense are the main drawbacks of interstellar travel. In the picture, Voyager the first is traveling at 62,000 kilometers an hour. In this speed, it would take 17,000 years to reach the nearest star. So, while it is technically possible, it is not likely to happen in the near future. Coming back to our lesson, so it was the history and the introduction about the space, about the astronaut, about the rockets, and our theme is about space. So the new words about space and astronauts. So as you can see in the book, at the back of the book, you can see the new words which are related to them. Space, atmosphere, so the translation is atmosfера, drove planet, кішкентай планета, light year, жарық жылы, moon, it is eye, orbit, орбита, rotate, айналу, wave, толқын, adapter, against the odds, бәріне қарсы, amazingly, таңға лықтай, bang, жарылыс, breathe out, тыныш шығару, carbon dioxide, көмір қышқыл газы, carry out, жүзеге асыру, catastrophe, апат, circuit, тізбек, схема, clear, тазалау, command module, командалық модул, conserve, сақтау, cope, істей алу, еңсеру, crew, экипаж, damaged, зақымдалған, deal with, мәселемен айналысу, depend on, бағынышты болу, Dumit шарасыз electricity supply электр қуатының қамтамасыз етілуі, enclosed space жабық кеңістік, equipment құрал жабдық, explode жарылу, face бетпе-бет келу, find out білу, табу, flash жарық ету, furiously долдана, go down in history тарихқа ену, go wrong қателесу, highly trained жоғары деңгейдегі дайындықпен өткен, in charge of жауапты болу, land отырғызу, landing отырғызылым, leak ағу, lifeboat құтқару қайығы, lift off көтерілу, lookout абайлау, абай болу, lunar module ай модулі, manned mission ұшу тапсырмасы, meteor mission тапсырма, nightmare сұмдық, obstacle кедергі, Oscar winning Оскарды жеңіп алу, oxygen оттегі, oxygen tank оттегі баллоны. Also there are also the words which you should write down on your copybooks and learn it by heart. About the lunar module, what is lunar module? It is a separate spaceship designed to land on the moon. And what is command module? Command module, it is a control center and living quarters for crew. And also there is a new words which are related to the theme: crew, manned mission, explosion, plot, survival, doomed, landing, lift off, bang, flash, trial, leaking, oxygen tank, meteor, no time to lose, command module, lunar module, lifeboat, enclosed, cope with, adapter, carbon dioxide, re-enter, splashdown, and go down in history. So we are going to take also the text about the space. So the name of the space, the name of the text is Houston. We have had a problem here. So it is very interesting text. So your task will be to read this task and also to translate this task about this. So it is about the crew that the mission was to the moon, faced an astronaut against worst nightmare, an explosion on the spacecraft. It is also the plot of the Oscar-winning film Apollo 13, but it's also a true story of survival against the odds. So you can read this text and also to translate into Kazakh and to understand the meaning of the text. And also there is astronauts who were in this spacecraft. And also by this link you can see the video of the film Apollo 13, which was won in Oscar, and what happened with the rocket and astronauts. So a few episodes about them from the Apollo 13.
Hey, we've got a problem here.
What did you do?
Nothing, I stirred the tanks.
Whoa. Hey.
This is Houston. Say again, please?
Houston, we have a problem. We have a main bus B undervolt. We've got a lot of thruster activity here, Houston. It just went offline. Oh, there's another master alarm, Houston.
I'm checking the quad.
Christ, that was no repress valve.
Maybe it's in quad.
We've got a computer restart.
I'm gonna reconfigure the RCS.
We've got a
When these
pins light.
things fire, it doesn't make any sense.
We've got multiple caution and warning, Houston. We've got a restart.
All right, I'm going to SDS.
Jesus. Flight, the heart rates are skyrocketing.
Econ, what's your data telling you?
O2, tank 2, not reading at all. Tank 1 is at 725 psi and falling. Fuel cells 1 and 3 are, oh boy, what's going on here? Flight, let me get back to you. Flight GNC? Flight, they're all over the place. They keep yawing close to gimbal lock.
I keep losing radio signal. Flight, their antenna must be
22, they're gonna have to do it manually if they do.
One at a time, people. One at a time. One at a time. Ecom, is this an instrumentation problem, or are we looking at real power loss here?
It's reading a quadruple failure. That can't happen. It's got to be instrumentation.
Let's get that hatch button. The limb might have been hit by a meteor.
Yep. The tunnel's really torquing with all this movement. Houston, we got a pretty large bang there associated with a master alarm. Shit, it's main bus A.
Main bus A undervolt?
Houston, we have a main bus A undervolt now, too. It's reading 25.5. Main bus B is reading zip right now. We got a wicked shimmy up here.
Ecom, GNC, these guys are talking about bangs and shimmies up there. Doesn't sound like instrumentation to me.
You are breaking up, 13.
Hey, get this hatch to seal.
Just stow it. We've been hit by a meteor. We'd be dead by now. We're gonna try to get us out of this lurch.
Houston, you're in the mud. Did you say switch to Omni Bravo? Roger, and the signal strength on the high
fighting
gateway
me. What's the
way down.
story here, Jack? We keep flirting with gimbal lock.
Odyssey, we need a confirmation. What system do you have down?
Okay, Jim. SMRCS,
Helium-1.
switch to
A
Omni,
and C
Charlie.
are barbacoa.
Houston, I'm switching over Quad C to Main A.
Roger that, 13.
Okay, Houston. Fuel cell 1. Fuel cell 3. We got a main bus B undervolt. Cryo pressure. Suit compressor. What don't we have? AC bus 1. AC bus 2. Command module computer.
And O2 flow high. I don't know.
Maybe this is a caution and warning failure.
Houston, we are venting something out into space.
Okay, thank you for your attention. Goodbye.